week number 6 with our week 6 games in Pitt. And it's an early game, but it's our SEC Talk game of the week. This is a big week here in the SEC. Number 9, Missouri at number 25, Texas A&M. We kind of circled this one as this is going to be one of the first early tests because you look at Missouri's schedule, it's pretty well set up. I know that they play Boston College. They have Alabama in a couple of weeks, but really saw this road game at College Station really being the difference. Will this be a one-loss team? Will this be a 2-loss team? So who you taking between the Tigers and the Aggies?
Yeah, I can't believe this one's a early kickoff.
This sucks.
We really don't have a good slate this week for you. So
I mean, if game day is going to Cal, then you just know that week sucks.
I mean, make Saturday night plans and stay at home for lunch because this is going to be a good one. I'm excited to see Missouri play a legitimate defense like Texas A&M and a crowd outside of their own. This team hasn't been road tested yet this year, and we'll see if that offense travels. Luther Burden's kind of been quiet. They got to get him out of his shell if they want to win this game on the road. Brady Cook, he's a name that we haven't seen on SEC Fantasy yet this year. He's still kind of trying to find his footing. I think this offense can get better. I think the defense has played pretty good, but I can't get over the fact this team almost lost to Vanderbilt. But I also don't trust what A&M has at quarterback, and I just think that Missouri's going to steal one here. But I wouldn't be surprised if A&M pulls this off. But I do think Brady Cook is a veteran guy, and I think they're going to eke out a victory here, maybe on a field goal.
Yeah, this was a tough one to pick. I think that this is a battle. Both offenses has been struggling early on. Like Missouri, I'm surprised. Like we were already through 5 weeks of the season. I thought that by now one of us would have taken Brady Cook, but this offense hasn't really shown much. Luther Burden, the one-time pick him, didn't really have a good game. So Luther Burden, like you mentioned, he has to have himself a heck of a game if they do want to go on the road and pull off this upset because A&M is a 2-point favorite heading into this one. So this is going to be a defensive battle. If this was in Columbia, I'd go with Missouri, but since this one's in College Station, the environment alone, I'm going to go with the Texas A&M Aggies. This will be close. Will probably be like a 24-21 type of game. It's going to be a physical battle. It'll come down to the fourth quarter. So give me Texas A&M. Give me the home team. Chet's also going to go with the home team, 2 Texas A&Ms and 1 Missouri. So if Missouri can pull off the victory for you, you're going to be starting off the slate 1-0. So we'll see. Keep an eye on that in our SEC Talk game of the week. So let's now move on to the next one. Auburn at number 5, Georgia. We just talked about Auburn. They're now 2-4 on the season. Actually, 2-3 on the season. Then Georgia, we just talked about them a couple of minutes ago. A tough one, losing on the road to Alabama in Tuscaloosa. But you come back home between the hedges against a team that hasn't been playing so well this season, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So do you have Georgia bouncing back, or do you have Auburn pulling off a shocker here?
No, but this game's always crazy. I mean,
that is true. Last year, Auburn almost upset Georgia at home.
Yeah, Auburn, no matter the season they're having, they come to play against Georgia and Alabama. But Georgia's pissed off. They just lost a game that they probably expected to win and had a chance to win at the very end. So I think they just pummel them pretty early. I think it's going to be I'm going to go like 42-14.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I'm going to go with Georgia. Not really been impressed with Auburn. I think that their defense can keep them in it for at least a half. And then Georgia, just too much Georgia in this one. So give me the Dogs. Chet's also going to go with the Dogs. So a clean sweep. We got the Dogs bouncing back in this one against Auburn. I know that you said crazier things have happened. We will see. But I would be shocked if Auburn pulls off the upset. Let's move on to the next one. Number 12, Ole Miss at South Carolina. Ole Miss, one of those teams trying to bounce back after their tough loss at home against Kentucky. South Carolina, they're 3-1. They're fresh coming off of the bye week. They're going to be rejuvenated in front of that home crowd. I believe this is the 2:30 game on ABC. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Ole Miss, South Carolina, you think South Carolina pulls off the home upset, or does Ole Miss get back on the winning streak?
I thought about making this an upset last week because I figured Ole Miss would handle business against Kentucky, and I thought they'd be looking forward to that LSU game. But I just can't see this team losing 2 in a row. And if they do, LSU is going to curb stomp them. I think if this game was at night, I would give South Carolina much more of a chance. It's not. I think it's going to kind of be like the LSU game, unfortunately, for South Carolina fans. I think South Carolina is going to score some points early, but I think that Ole Miss offense is just going to wear down South Carolina defensively. So give me the Rebels. I think it will be about a touchdown game, though.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good game. I'm definitely looking forward to watching this one on Saturday afternoon. But yeah, I really thought about South Carolina pulling off the upset. They're coming off of the bye week. Last time that they had a big game, they should have won against LSU. And then Ole Miss, this is a team that is coming off of a loss. What's their mindset going to be heading into a new game week? But I ultimately went with Ole Miss. I mean, I picked this team to go to the SEC and win the SEC championship, so I can't bury them quite yet. For that alone, I am going to go with Ole Miss, though it will be close. I think both teams get into the 30s. Two talented offenses. Defenses are pretty good on both sides, especially on the defensive front. But give me Ole Miss to squeak away this one against South Carolina. Is Chuck going to go with an upset? He will not. So South Carolina fans, you're welcome. We're all going with Ole Miss. So there you go. All rolling with the Rebels against South Carolina. We'll see what happens. And then number 1, Alabama at Vanderbilt. The last time that we saw number 1 Alabama at Vanderbilt, they got curb stomped. It was like 59-0 in the past couple of years when that Vanderbilt player is like, oh, we won all this smoke, and then they get drilled at home. But Alabama coming off the victory against Georgia. Vanderbilt, they are coming off of the bye week. They had a tough loss last time we saw them against Missouri, almost pulled off the upset. So I'm pretty sure that all of us will just be sticking with the Tide this week.
Yeah, give me the Tide. It's going to be like 56-7.
Yep, Alabama. There we go. Sorry, Vanderbilt. We're just back to not talking much about you unless you prove something. I mean, if you score 20 points, we'll talk more about you. But number 4, Tennessee at Arkansas. Honestly, this is one of the more underrated games. Arkansas, I know they have 2 losses in their column, but this has been a good team so far in the season. Tennessee, another team coming off of the bye week. They're fresh, not like they need it. I mean, their offense can just step on the field and just put up 40 on you. So you're going to go with the Volunteers pulling off this road win, or do you have the Hogs pulling off the major upset?
It's a night game, huh?
It is.
I mean, that's going to be a tough environment. But we saw Tennessee handle a road environment against Oklahoma, and Tennessee seems to be playing a lot of these Western road trips, so they should have a pretty favorable home schedule down the stretch. I think they get it done. I think Tennessee gets it done. Arkansas, they were a play or 2 away from winning this past week against Texas A&M, and they couldn't make the play. And Tennessee's a lot better in Texas A&M, so I'm just going to go with the Bulls.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Arkansas keeps this closer than the experts think, but I'm too high on Tennessee not to pick them here on the road. So give me the Volunteers. Chet's going to be going Rocky Top. So all rolling with the Big Orange against the Hogs in this one. So no surprises that we're picking this week. No really upsets. So we'll see. But that is, let's go on now to the next one. That's our conference games. And now let's go on to non-conference. Probably one of the last non-conference games that we talk about until Missouri goes on the road to UMass here in like 2 weeks. We'll be talking about that one pretty quickly. But UCF at Florida. UCF just got drilled by Colorado. They lost by like almost 20 points. Florida, another SEC team, is on the bye. I mean, everybody just took a vacation this week, and then a couple more are taking a vacation this week. So you have the Knights going on the road to the Swamp. This is a night game. But do you have Florida pulling off their win? I feel like we've been saying that, this has got to be it because they're playing at the Swamp and they continue to lose. So do you see that trend continuing here if UCF pulling off the win?
Yeah, I got UCF winning this one, and I think they make a statement. I mean, I think they lost this week, though, to Colorado.
Yep.
but I think they bounce back. I mean, they're going to want to win. It's not quite the same scenario as it used to be where you had a bunch of guys that didn't get Florida offers. Now that UCF is a Power 5 team, they're up there recruiting with Florida, and this one's big for that. You could sway some recruits to go to Central Florida with a big win, so I think they get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big game for recruiting. And keep in mind, SEC Talk fans, the quarterback of UCF is KJ Jefferson. And we know what he can do on the field. He can't do anything. I'm going to go with Florida. I'm not impressed with UCF. I mean, they were 14-point favorites against Colorado, and Colorado covered them themselves. UCF is not a very good football team. They go on the road to a Florida team that's rested. They're hungry for a big victory at home. I mean, UCF, they wanted to play Florida for a couple of years. They ducked them now. They finally get them. I think Florida shows them if Florida loses this one, Billy Napier, there's no way in hell that he survives another week. I mean, losing to both Miami and UCF, and you still have Florida State. I know Florida State's 1-3, but still losing to UCF and Miami pretty early on, that it's enough to get you fired from Florida. So this is a big game for Napier. But once again, I'm going to pick Florida at home, so hopefully they can do it for me. Third time's a charm. So we'll see if the Gators can do it. Jets going to go with the Gators. So you're the only one that thinks that the Knights can pull off this victory. We will see what happens on Saturday night in the Swamp.